Hi there. Yeah, it's me, Grandpa Gary, back again for number 3. Well, first of all, here's my motto. Lose not thine airspeed. Lose not thine airspeed, lest the earth rise up and smite thee. Lose not thine airspeed, lest the earth rise up and smite thee. So don't ever lose your airspeed, or the earth will get you. Okay? That's my motto. It's been my motto all the time, and nothing's changed. There's no better. That's it. That's the whole thing. So I want to tell you about a confidence maneuver. A confidence maneuver is something rather extreme that you do to gain confidence in yourself and in your aircraft and whatever it takes. So one day in 1966 or 67, we were out doing tail dragger practice. And I told you I was going to save this, but I want to tell you now. A tail dragger is wonderful. It'll really, really, really teach you how to fly. But what we were doing is doing spins in a tail dragger. And how can I put this? Well, I decided I wanted to do a spin recovery under the hood. Not only that, I wanted to do 5 of them. 5 spin recoveries under the hood. So my instructor said, fine, let's do it. So we went up, we climbed, got up about 5,000-6,000 feet, and I pulled my hood down over my head so I couldn't see anything outside. All I could see is my instruments. And so I was going to use the needle ball airspeed to stop the spin. And then I was going to gradually lower the nose to relax the back pressure to let it fly out. That's how you do a spin recovery. So we did it. So here we go. We came in, we pulled it back into slowed up into a stall, because you got to stall first. It's required in a spin. Pull the stick back, pull it back, pull it back, pull it back. And then I pulled it back and okay, bam, all the way back, left rudder, and woo, down we got, whomp, whomp, whomp. We did about 2 or 3 turns, and I neutralized the rudders, and the needle ball centered, and we stopped spinning, and now I relaxed the back pressure, and we flew on out of there, and we flew up to level flight. And that was the end of number 1. So I thought that was just about as awesome as it could get. This was outstanding. And if anything could give me confidence in an airplane and in myself, it was that. So we did it 4 more spin recoveries under the hood. And I did them all really good. Pulled it back, slowed up, came back on the stick, all the way back, left rudder, and we go boom, 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 wah, boom, boom, boom. And then I centered the rudder pedals, and the needles centered, and then we started coming out, and I relaxed the back pressure, and it flew out, and we were up in, again, level flight. And I brought the power up. We were in good shape, so we had to climb back up. So we did 5. That was it. And it was mission accomplished, and I felt good, and I felt like I was indestructible. for future reference. There's nothing in an airplane that's going to happen to me that I can't recover. And that's what builds confidence, a confidence maneuver. Okay, so now let's talk about wind. Wind from the ground, it rotates as you climb. As you gain altitude, the wind shifts direction. Theoretically, it shifts clockwise. When tower report, what I really hate, this is disgusting. People call and say, tower, say wind. I wish they'd just say wind, but they don't. The wind is 200 at 15, gust 25, and they say thank you. Okay, but look, where the tower reads their wind, sometimes it's up on the top of the tower, which is quite high. So the wind is not the same up there as it is down on the ground where you're going to be landing. That's why they have a windsock. They have a windsock to show you the active runway, and they have a windsock to show you the direction of the wind. So you don't necessarily want to trust the wind that the tower gives you. As a general reference, it's okay, but it's not the final authority. It's not going to be the final authority like when you get down near the ground and you got buildings around and so forth, and it's going to screw up the wind. The wind comes flying through between the buildings and causes all sorts of problems. And you've got to go ahead and fly the airplane down final approach. You'll be crabbing into the wind, and that tells you the direction of the wind. The airplane will tell you the direction of the wind. It won't tell you the velocity, but it'll give you a good idea. So the wind is here, and as you get on down, the wind will shift a little bit. Listen, I want to tell you a story up at Ramona. I was up at Ramona one time. Somebody said the wind at Ramona was at one reading on the approach end of the runway, another reading halfway down the runway, and a second reading or a third reading, whatever it is, at the end of the runway. They had 3 different winds down the runway. I never encountered that. But all you do is you fly the airplane. The hardest part of flying an airplane is the last couple minutes, because that's where you're going to really fly. It's not going to matter if you got an autopilot. It's not going to matter what you got. The last couple minutes of the airplane, when you're flying, is going to tell you how good a pilot you are. Okay? So when you're coming down and you're crabbing and you're going into the flare, now you got to straighten the airplane out so the airplane will go straight down the runway on the center line. Another story. Down the center line, and the wing will dip into the wind. So you step on the right rudder, lower the left wing, and that'll put you into what's called a slip. And you'll slip it, and you'll land, you'll flare, hold it off, and you will touch the left wheel first, assuming the wind is from the left. Touch the left wheel first, then the right wheel, then the nose wheel, in that order. So the moral of the story is you've got to fly the airplane. you've got to look at the wind as you come down final to see what the wind is doing. And then as you get into the flare on the runway, it'll tell you something completely different. And that's how you got to land your airplane. And it'll be just the opposite on the right side if the wind is from the right. So that should be pretty self-explanatory, right? Okay. It's really weird. You feel really weird when you're learning to do crosswind landings, but you have to do it. You got to do it. And the slower the airspeed, the greater the controlled deflection. Got to increase aileron into the wind. The rudder nose going straight. As you slow down, you can do more and more and more and more of that. More of that. You've lost airspeed. You've got to use more control inputs to see that the airplane will do what you want it to do. Okay? Okay, I think that pretty well covers that. So now we're going to talk about something I wanted to talk about in the last video, but I kind of messed it up, so I edited it out. But I'm going to talk about the 3 basic types of navigation. The first type is pilotage. You're landing, well, you're not landing. You're taking off and you're flying north out of, say, Gillespie, and you're flying north, and you're going to say, oh, there's Escondido. Yeah, there's Escondido. You're going to fly a little, keep going north, and you're going to say, oh, there's French Valley. There's French Valley, yeah. And then a little bit more, you go, oh, there's Hemet. Yeah, there's Hemet. Okay, that is pilotage. Pilotage is flown by reference to physical structures on the ground. Whatever they are, that's what you're going to use for a visual reference to tell where you are and that you're going in the right direction. Okay? Pilotage. Now, from there, you go to dead reckoning. Dead reckoning is flying heading and time. Heading and time, and then airspeed. You have your distance measured out between your fixes on a cross country. The distance between 2 fixes, you know, you're going, say, 80 knots or 100 knots. Let's see, just say 80 knots. And we'll just say the distance between these 2 points is 80 miles. Well, that makes it really simple. You're going 80 miles in an hour, so you're going to travel 80 miles over the ground in 1 hour. And you're going that's where you're going to start your turn, whatever you're going to do when you get to your new checkpoint, that you're going to do. And you're going to start your time over again. So heading and time, heading and time, heading and time. And this is what you have to refer to or fall back on if your more sophisticated forms of navigation go out. They fail. Because the third form of navigation is radio navigation. So that could be GPS, that could be ADF, that could be VOR navigation. These are your main types of navigation. And when they go out on you, you have to fall back, have to have something to fall back on, or you're not going to get to where you're going. So, and you got to get to where you're going, or it's just not working. Okay, so some people, they rely on GPS so much that all they learn to do is to fly direct. They fly direct to a fix. They said dial it in, and you hit direct, enter, and you can say, okay, 270 is my new course, so they fly 270. And then they get to that fix, and then they dial in the next one. They go, okay, direct, enter. Okay, 360, that's the next course. And now that's easy to fly that way, but it's not the right way to fly. It doesn't work. And believe me, you'll never pass a check ride that way. Never, ever, ever. But it's something you can fall back on if something else fails. Because you'll have points set out on your trip, fixes, a series of fixes that you have to hit to get to where you're going. So that covers basically the three types of navigation. And I think what I'll do is I'll tell you two things. I'll tell you one thing, but two things. A radial flies outbound from a station. You take something like the Victor 66 off of the Mission Bay VOR here in San Diego. You're flying Victor 66, and so the heading, the course, the mag course, what you're going to fly is 076 radial, on the 076 radial outbound from the station. That's the radial you're going to fly on. There have 360 degrees of these radials. You're going to pick on a 076 and it's going to fly you on Victor 66 eastbound. But if you're going turn around, if you do a 180 and you turn around and you're flying to the station, you now are flying the reciprocal of that course, of that radial, which will be the course to the station. You fly a course to a station. You fly a radial from the station. This is important, very important. So the reciprocal of 076 is 256. You add 200 and subtract 20. 076, add 200, that's 276. Subtract 20, that's 256. See how easy that is? That's how you figure a reciprocal heading or course. So you want to turn around, you want to fly inbound to the station, 256, course inbound. That is not the radial, that's the course inbound to the station. 076 radial takes you away from the station. Well, I hate to get the feeling we're at 10 minutes or 15 minutes max, so I better quit for now. I could go into one more thing, but I don't want to do that because that's going to take a long time, and that'll be on the ground, an airport diagram, and that'll take a while. So thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. I hope I didn't confuse you too much because you can always replay. And I'll see you in the next one. Be good. See ya. Bye-bye.